So consumer prices, I mean, obviously, you and I are concerned about that because we buy stuff.
Exactly.
And, you know, the frustrating thing, I don't know about your family, the CPI is like, is it a fantasy land number for me?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when I go to the supermarket where I buy things, where I pay utilities, my personal CPI is going up a lot faster than that. And that's a source of frustration. But even more frustrating, the Fed doesn't really focus. If this number had happened to surprise on the upside, or if there are factors, because you can see factors bubbling up in the core in this number, that was the real story. It was the highest of September '08, bubbling up. They're not very concerned about that. If you're a trader on Wall Street and you're concerned about, you know, QE3 waiting in the wings to come in and bail you out, and you know,
which is almost the only reason you care about this number if you're a trader.
That's right. Then you don't need to worry.
Right.
That's the good news for you. Bad news for you and me, consumers buying milk for our kids and things like that.
The thing that I thought was really interesting, though, in this piece was that, you know, we were starting to see the price of housing reflected in rents going up. But Bernanke, conveniently, doesn't like the way that that's measured, and so he looks at a different measure that doesn't really give as much weight to that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Let me get a little wonky on you, okay? Yeah. So, contrary to popular belief, the price of housing, the price of houses, that has no impact whatsoever on what the cost of shelter is. Since 1983, it's a capital good. It has no impact, okay?
And you saw that during the bubble.
You did.
When home prices doubled and then CPI went nowhere.
Right.
As a matter of fact, you know, if you had home prices rather than this, it's called owner's equivalent rent, then CPI, they probably would have tightened a lot sooner in 2004, 2005. They would have tightened and probably would have prevented a lot of problems. Now you have all kinds of weird effects, right? This OER. One thing that makes it
rent.
That's right, and one thing that makes it go higher are lower utility bills. Then you heard about the price of natural gas coming down. There's a statistical glitch that makes that go up. And what Bernanke said last month at a press conference is these are basically made-up numbers. And he's right. I mean, they're basically made-up numbers. It's just a shame he didn't feel that way in 2005.
I mean, the reality is you have these number crunchers in the government. We have to wrap this thing up. And they're saying inflation's not such a big problem. And the Fed takes that and says, oh, great, inflation's not such a big problem. But when the three of us go out to the supermarket, you go, inflation's a problem.
It is to me.
And you look at your wages. I know the three of us do great, and we get huge salary, but you know.
I don't even look at my bank account anymore.
I mean, for most people in America, wages are going nowhere, prices are going up. I mean, it's a real world problem. Is your bottom line, right?
Of course, yeah.